Hello everyone. In this lecture, we are going to study about gastrulation. So, after fertilization, human egg is produced. This egg undergoes successive cleavage and forms 2, 4, 8, 16, and so on cell stage. These 8 to 16 cell stage is called morula. This morula after division forms a stage known as blastocyst in human, and this blastocyst will further get implanted. It will form gastrula. Gastrula stage will develop, and this process of development of gastrula is called gastrulation. It will form embryo. Embryo will develop into fetus. This fetus, after the completion of 9 months, will get parturated and a neonate will be produced. So, in this lecture, we are going to read from implantation to gastrulation. So, I'll start with blastocyst. So, this is the early stage of blastocyst. The outer layer is trophoblast. The inner one is inner cell mass. This pole where inner cell mass is concentrated is known as embryonal pole. In human, this embryonal pole is only known as animal pole. Pole opposite to embryonal pole is vegetal pole or abembryonal pole. This will develop into this stage. So basically what's happening, the outer blastocyst gets differentiated into two layers. The inner layer is called cytotrophoblast, and the outer layer where there is no membrane, this layer is called syncytotrophoblast. This syncytotrophoblast will form chorionic villi. So this blastocyst will get implanted. Implanted means this blastocyst will enter into the endometrial lining of uterus. It will enter into endometrial lining of uterus from this pole, this embryonal pole. So we are going to study what will happen after implantation. So see what's happening. This was our trophoblast. I have marked this green color. I have marked syncytotrophoblast from this green color. This is cytotrophoblast and this is inner cell mass. After implantation, this syncytotrophoblast will spread in the lining of endometrium. Inner cell mass will get arranged in two layers. The upper layer will be formed of columnar cells and the lower layer will be formed of cuboidal cells. Later, these upper layers separate from the top portion and forms two layers. The first layer is epiblast and the second layer is hypoblast. And you can see this green color lining, this light green. This light green color lining is exocelomic membrane. So here we can see the cytotrophoblast is one and a half layered. This is epiblast, this is hypoblast, this is exocelomic membrane. So this is our gastrula. So now we will see development of this gastrula, how extracelomic membranes are formed, how extraembryonic membranes are formed, how extraembryonic germ layers are formed, how intraembryonic germ layers are formed. See, this was a trophoblast. I'm making a rough sketch. This light green is exocelomic membrane. The first layer is epiblast. The second layer is hypoblast. And this is our syncytotrophoblast. See what's happening here. This exocelomic membrane is also derived from cytotrophoblast. So what will happen? This cytotrophoblast will again divide, and a cellular layer will form between this exocelomic membrane and this cytotrophoblast. Now, sorry. So, see what's happening here. These trophoblast cells have divided and occupied a space between this extracelomic membrane and cytotrophoblast. This red colored space having which have a mass of cells derived from trophoblast, this is called extra embryonic mesoderm. So we have seen extra embryonic mesoderm have been formed. This is our exocelomic membrane. This is epiblast, this is hypoblast, this is cytotrophoblast, this is syncytotrophoblast. We have here, you can see now, you can see they have two cavities. We will see what will happen with these two cavities. These two cavities which will develop into which part of the embryo. Now, what will happen? This trophoblast layer, will get differentiated into extra embryonic ectoderm. So, extra embryonic ectoderm has been formed, extra embryonic mesoderm has been formed, epiblast, hypoblast is there, the two cavities are there, since cytotrophoblast is there. Now we will see the formation of extra embryonic coelom, that is mesodermal cavity, and then extra embryonic endoderm, and then we will move towards the formation of embryo. See, this is our section. See what will happen. A cavity will start generating in this mesodermal cell. See, this kind of cavity will start developing in these mesodermal cells. So now how will it look like? This was our trophoblast, that is extraembryonic ectoderm. This was our exocoelomic membrane, epiblast, hypoblast. Our cavity has been generated. This is the first observation, and rest is extraembryonic mesoderm. This will continue splitting, that is, the cavity will continue to grow. Here you can see large cavity has been formed. These are called extraembryonic mesodermal coelom. This was our extraembryonic mesoderm, sorry, ectoderm. This is our extraembryonic mesoderm. Now we will see the formation of chorion. Chorion is an extraembryonic membrane. This space, that is the space between extraembryonic coelom, extraembryonic mesoderm, and extraembryonic ectoderm, is called chorion. So now far we have seen the formation of chorion, extraembryonic mesoderm, extraembryonic ectoderm, extraembryonic mesodermal coelom. And now this cavity is called chorionic cavity. Now let me give you a clear diagram how this look likes. So see, how does it look like? This green color layer is called syncytiotropoblast. We have read about this. This black colored layer, this is extraembryonic ectoderm, and this pale yellow color is layer of cells. They are remains of trophoblast. They are still present. This pink color layer, this is extraembryonic mesoderm. This cavity is extraembryonic coelom, and it has been developed into chorionic cavity. Yeah, this is chorion. This light green color, this is exocoelomic membrane. The above layer is epiblast, the lower layer is hypoblast. So now so far we have seen the formation of extraembryonic ectoderm, mesoderm, chorionic cavity. Now we will look after formation of embryo, formation of definitive endoderm. That is, we will look after this section only. From now, I will ignore the entire section. I will just consider this section only, because we are concerned about this section only from now. See, this cavity is amniotic cavity. These layer of cells, these are called amniogens. This is epiblast, this is hypoblast, and this cavity is primary yolk sac. So now we are going to study what's happening here. This was a epiblast, this was a hypoblast. This is a cross section. Now I am taking a longitudinal section of this epiblast. There are two ends. The one is caudal end. This is cephalic end. This cephalic end will develop into a head. See, what will happen? A primitive groove will develop. What is it? A groove will develop from caudal end. This is called primitive streak. This node is primitive node. What will they do? This primitive streak will produce, that is the part of a epiblast. This will produce a large amount of cells, which will uh, which will come and invaginate in between epiblast and hypoblast, due to which the layer of this hypoblast will get separated. This was our epiblast. This is primitive streak. Cells are coming. That is the invagination of cells from epiblast, that is primitive streak. The hypoblast layer gets separated from epiblast. And this separated hypoblast forms definitive endoderm, that is extra embryonic endoderm. Now this cavity is secondary yolk sac. This secondary yolk sac is responsible for the formation of RBC before the formation of fetus. So RBC formation starts from yolk sac. We have read this, that is this RBC formation starts in this secondary yolk sac. Now our concern is this epiblast and these invaginated cells. This was an epiblast. This was primitive streak. Cells are coming from this primitive streak. This is the first layer of cell. This layer will form intraembryonic endoderm. After this layer, whichever cell will come, they will form intraembryonic mesoderm, and the rest of this epiblast will form intraembryonic ectoderm. So we have seen the formation of extraembryonic germ layers, intraembryonic germ layers, secondary yolk sac. Now we will read about formation of embryo, formation of allantois, formation of amnion. See, I am representing this black color. This black colored layer is intraembryonic ectoderm. This yellow color is intraembryonic mesoderm, and this green color is intraembryonic endoderm. You can see I have made a structure that is arising from a layer of intraembryonic endoderm. This structure was later developed in allantois. So now what will happen? Embryo folding will start. We have to see how embryo folding occurs. See, first they will change their curvature. Allantois is there. After that, these three layers will move downwards. That is, this was the trigeminal layer. These will move downwards. So what will happen? This cavity will increase and this cavity will decrease. Again, and finally, this is amniotic cavity, this is embryo, and this is yolk sac. This is yolk sac and this is allantois. So you might be wondering about formation of allantois. So let me give you a clear visualization about allantois. This was allantois. This continues to grow. This continues to grow, and here it is formed. So I hope folding of embryo and formation of allantois, formation of yolk sac is clear to you. This is our structure. This is embryo. This is amnion. This is secondary yolk sac. This is allantois. We have seen the formation of secondary yolk sac, allantois, and amnion. So let's correlate them what we have read in our books. This is amnion. This is embryo. Three-layer. This is intra-embryonic ectoderm. This is amnion, secondary yolk sac, allantois. This is chorionic cavity, that is extraembryonic coelom. See, we have read that this is chorion. Chorion is made up of extraembryonic ectoderm and extraembryonic mesoderm. This is allantois. We have seen the formation of allantois. That allantois is formed from intraembryonic endoderm from inside, and from outside it is formed from extraembryonic mesoderm. About secondary yolk sac, it is a yolk sac. From inside it is made of definitive endoderm, that is extraembryonic endoderm, and from outside it is made up of extraembryonic mesoderm. How can I say that it is made of extraembryonic mesoderm? Because we have read earlier that outside this amnion there was coelom, and the coelom is a part of mesoderm. That actually the coelom is formed by the splitting of mesoderm. So I can say outside there is the mesodermal lining. So this secondary yolk sac is made up of definitive endoderm from inside and extraembryonic coelom, that is extraembryonic mesoderm from outside. Now at last this is our amnion. Again we can see that from outside amnion is made up of extraembryonic mesoderm, and from inside, that is the outermost layer, it is made up of intraembryonic ectoderm. So we have seen amnion is made up of intraembryonic ectoderm, and extra embryonic mesoderm. Secondary yolk sac. Secondary yolk sac is made up of extra embryonic endoderm and extra embryonic mesoderm. Allantois. Allantois is made up of intra-embryonic endoderm and extra embryonic mesoderm. Chorion. Chorion is made up of extra embryonic ectoderm and extra embryonic mesoderm. So now far we have seen formation of embryo, formation of allantois, formation of secondary yolk sac, formation of chorion, formation of amnion. See a little bit now. Let's extend our discussion a little bit. Sorry. This is a chorionic villi. See, this was allantois. Allantois will form umbilical cord. Secondary yolk sac will there as it is till birth and will form RBC until liver has been formed. Fetus, this embryo will grow into fetus, and this fetus will be developed inside amniotic cavity, will float inside amniotic cavity. Uh, this amniotic fluid provides cushioning of the fetus. This is amniotic fluid. This is chorion. So now we have seen this embryo will develop into fetus. Fetus will be parturated after 9 months, and we will get a neonate. In the formation of fetus, organs will be developed, organ system will be developed, hair will be developed at the end of 5th month, and it will be developed into a fully developed fetus. So now far we have seen the formation of embryo, extra embryonic membranes, intra-embryonic membranes, and extra embryonic germ layers. I hope whatever I had taught, they might be clear to you. So it's time to say goodbye. Thank you. Have a nice day ahead.